just quickly for those that joined in the last minute or so, and I don't know if as an attendee you can see how many are on. Currently we've got 5 of you dialed in. We did have around 20 or so that pre-registered. So obviously some people have not been able to dial in. Because of that, I'll try and make the session a little bit more informal and give you the opportunity to come off mute and ask questions as I run through. So just a quick introduction. My name's Rob. I'm Customer Success Manager here at Club Spark. And kind of main role is to support clubs and coaches making the most of the platform. So if any of you have been on a webinar before, you might have seen my face kind of hosting it, as well as our weekly clinics. We did also have Louisa and Sophie on the call. Due to smaller numbers, they may dial out and kind of I'll lead the session this morning, as we've just got kind of the five of you here. There is the Q&A function, so I'm sure lots of you are familiar with Zoom. At the bottom or top of your screen, depending on what device you're using, there's a Q&A, so you can ask a question. And what I'll do now is I can answer that kind of live as I'm doing the demo and running through things, or equally feel free to use the chat if you've got any questions in there as well. So just in terms of what we're going to cover, I'd imagine the session will be around 45 minutes this morning, up to an hour, depending on the kind of questions that come in. But the idea of the session is to give a bit of an overview of the coaching module and the functionality within it. I'll then really, for the core of it, run through a number of live demos. So kind of showing you all of the how the module works, creating courses, how it works for a member or player booking onto a course, so the customer side, and then also a bit on the coaching app and also some features that we're working on. So yeah, as I say, about 45 minutes or so, but please do kind of pop in any questions through the Q&A and chat as we're running through. So just as a very quick overview before I jump onto the demo, for those that maybe are less familiar with Club Spark, maybe some of you haven't used it before. The idea of the coaching module allows you to create, manage, and promote your sessions, whether that's courses or holiday camps. You can also set up all of any LTA programs within here as well. So I'm sure as a lot of you are aware, things like LTA Start, LTA Youth, Tennis Express, Cardio Tennis, all of those can be found within Club Spark. And then the courses that you create there actually pull through to a national campaign site. So if anyone's searching for a particular course like Tennis Express, they'll be able to find all of those Tennis Express courses across the country within a searchable platform. Through Club Spark on the coaching module, you can also take online payments and bookings for your program, so making it easier for you to manage, but also easier for your players to sign up to your program. There's also functionality in there to be able to email and text your players. So if a session's cancelled due to rain, or you want to make them aware of something but ahead of the session, you can email or send a text through the app to all of those that are attending. And lastly, managing your registers through the coaching app. So I'll come onto that in a bit more for those that maybe haven't seen it. But there is a really useful app that makes it helpful for you and maybe your coaching team just to tick off who's attended really quickly, and then that pulls through to the admin area of Club Spark. So I'm going to jump straight into the live demo and run through the platform. So if I just stop sharing that screen and then pop up here. Now, just very quickly to touch on, just in case there's anyone who hasn't kind of logged in or seen Club Spark before, what I'm accessing here is the admin area. So if you haven't seen this before, this is kind of the home screen if you've got admin to a Club Spark account. I'm using a test account for this demo today. So there are some features on here that you might spot that you haven't seen on your platform, and that's because it's a test account that we're developing. But a lot of the functionality you'll see is the same. So the module we're going to focus on today is the coaching module and sort of setting up courses, taking bookings. So this is how the module looks when you click on it. I'll just give a bit of an overview of the subheadings along the top here. So firstly, programs, and that's what the page we're on currently. So this is where you'll see all of your different coaching categories, whether that's your custom ones like lessons, adult beginners, but also the LTA branded, so LTA Start, Cardio Tennis, Walking Tennis. So there's some preset ones that are all just already set up in the system. We then have a module sort of built into coaching module, holiday camps. So for your kind of summer, Easter, half-term camps where you want to create kind of multiple days, early drop-off, late pickup, those kind of things, we have a holiday camps feature that allows you to do that. I'm actually delivering a webinar in a couple of weeks that's going to run through how to create those camps and how that works, which I'll share with the details later on. So we're not going to focus on that one so much today. Lessons is something new that we're working on, so you wouldn't have seen that currently within your platform. If I click onto all sessions, if I want to see an overview of all of the sessions that are happening this month or over a day or over a week, I can do that here. So you can see I've currently got 2 over the next month, and I can see how many attendees or bookings I've got for that course. So just a bit of an overview there. If I click on the coaching team, from here within your ClubSpark account, you can add all of the coaches. So if you've got a big coaching team or a couple of coaches who work for you or with you, you can then add them into the coaching team so that when you're creating a course, you can assign a coach, and then the players booking on can see who the coach is. It's also particularly important with things like LTA Youth and LTA Youth Start. So you'll see here, if I just zoom in slightly, you've got, it says here for my coaching, I'm not LTA Youth certified or LTA Youth Start certified, sorry. And so that means if I try to create an LTA Youth Start course and enter myself as the coach, the system wouldn't let me. So it requires LTA coach accreditation and also the relevant LTA training to be able to deliver those sessions. And you can do that by adding in a coach. When you add their details, you can add the LTA coach code, and that will then pick up all of your or their accreditation details and their LTA youth training. So if I just skip back, so that's the coaching team that you can add in. And then finally, reporting as well. So if I click on the top right here, if you'd like to have a look at how many courses you've delivered over a certain period, whether it's a month, a year, how many have attended, the revenue, all kind of a reporting is found within this section across camps. You can also look at what all your different coaches have delivered. So if you've assigned a coach to a course, you can see which sessions they've delivered. I can also see a full list of participants and the number of sessions they've attended. So if I update that one here, you can see in this test account, I've just got the one, and they've booked onto 2 sessions and currently haven't attended any. So you can see a really good detail, as much kind of analysis and reporting as you want to look at. So that's a bit of an overview there just of those tabs. If there are any questions, as I say, as I'm running through, please do pop them in the chat or the Q&A, and I'll do my best to pick those up. So what I wanted to run through next is kind of setting up a coaching category. So as I said, there's some preset ones here already, and those are the ones with the logos with LTA Youth Start, Pair and Play, Tennis Express, but also I can create custom categories. So it might be that you want to create TOTS tennis or adult beginners, something along those lines. And you can do that by clicking at the right top here. So if I click add new category. And for this example, I might create sort of adult advanced. So the program type, so this splits it between whether it's an adult or a junior course. So for this one, I want it to be adult. And then a lot of the other detail will be preset. So when you're creating a course in a minute, whatever you put here, it will default as the contact details, the waiting list type, and various things like that. So if I just populate my details in there, there is a waiting list functionality across all courses. So if you had a course of 8 people and it was full, people could book on, and then if one of your 8 cancelled, they could either automatically get an email telling them that the space has opened up, or you can, as I've done here, set it to manual. And so that, I mean, when a space opens up, you can email them with a payment request to book onto the course. So I'm going to leave that as manual for now. There is also the option to turn the waiting list function off if you prefer. I can up terms and conditions for this course or for this category. Open active, there's a bit of an explanation here in terms of what open active means, but it means the data is available and for people to easily be able to book and search for all courses available to set up within this category. I'm going to put minimum age as an adult course of 18 and then no maximum age. But again, for junior courses, you could have sort of a top session. You might want to put 2 to 4, something like that. And you can do that in here. And then you can put a default description, confirmation, and reminder email. So any text you want to appear on the course. Adult advanced, such as these here. And a reminder email is triggered if they have a booking. Let's say the booking was today. Overnight last night, there would be a reminder email to say that your course is taking place today and to remind them of the session. So you can put anything in there, and I'll just leave that as it is for now. Sorry, Alicia, good question. I kind of skipped past that, but there is a contact tag function. Now, if I go into the contacts module, I'll just load that up there. Some of you might be familiar with contact tags where you can assign, if I just skip across, there's this tag here. I can assign various tags to my contacts. So this is really useful in terms of email communication. So you might have, like I say, TOTS players or advanced adults, and you might want to tag all of those advanced adults so that you can then filter by advanced adults and just email. So it might be that you've had 100 people have attend advanced adults over the last year, and you can then email them to promote the upcoming course. What you can do within a category and when someone's booked onto a course is if you give them that tag, and let's say for this example, I'm going to give them, let's say Tennis Express. When somebody books onto an adult advanced session, they would automatically get that tag. And so that can be really useful. So anyone that's booked onto any advanced session over a certain period will then have that tag. And then you could go into the contacts module, filter by that tag, and then you can send them all an email. So if you want to kind of help with targeted emails to key groups, it's really worth kind of assigning a tag. And you can do similar with juniors, like say TOTS, family sessions, and you can create any custom tags that you like. So Alicia, hopefully that answers your question there. And then just lastly, default, there's the option for the customers to do a cancellation. So so that means they can cancel their booking themselves rather than them having to email you and you cancel it within the admin area. And also you can enable auto refund. So if you had a course that was happening, let's say we wanted to say, if I set this one to midday, 2 days before the course is due to start. So you might want to let people be able to cancel and get a refund 2 days before. But if the course has started or it's within those 2 days, you don't want them to be able to get that refund because that's part of the rules that you set up. So that can be really helpful to help reduce administration. And lastly, sort of coach validation. So this will pick up their coach accreditation. So it won't allow you to add a coach unless they're accredited and got the insurance in place to do that. So I'm gonna pop that in for those two there. So once I've saved that category, if I just then go back to the coaching module, we'll then be able to see that set up. So there's my adults beginners, my adult advanced there with 0 courses created. And I can click into that there. And that's where I can now create various courses. So it might be that you've got a number of advanced sessions throughout the week and you can create them then all within the same category. So I'm just going to walk through how to create a course. And again, any questions that pop up, please feel free to use the chat and Q&A, and I'll pause and answer those. So I'm just going to create a course. There's 3 different types of courses that can be created. The firstly and kind of most common is the short course. So that might be a 2 to 12 week course, a half term or a full term course that you want to set up, and they pay, let's say, £60 for an 8-week block or whatever it may be. A single session, this may be more relevant for a pay and play basis. So this is creating a one-off session for, let's say, Saturday morning. And then if that session happened every Saturday, you would need to then create that session week in, week out. This might work better for something that maybe is less frequent. So it might be that you do something on more of a monthly basis. And therefore you just want to add it on an ad hoc basis when the course happens. If you are offering pay and play, like I say, every Saturday morning, this one might be more relevant. So this is reoccurring session. And what this means is it will create a new sessions for you every week. So let's say every Saturday. And as a parent or a player, they can then book onto multiple sessions in advance. So it might be a few Saturdays in advance, or they could book each week in advance. And so that'll just create a new session each week and they'll book on week by week. I'm just going to create a short course because I think this is the most common for this example this morning. So, and again, just like I did the category, I'll just run through how you create this. So firstly, there's different options for how you want the course to appear. It might be when you're first setting this up, you want it to be hidden, so then nobody can book on and see it, just as you're kind of testing out creating a course. Public means that it'll pull through to your website or your ClubSpark page. So if I click public here, and I go into the website side, you can see here there's a course appearing. So that's a public course that's public facing, people can book onto. There is also direct link only. This might be relevant to kind of if you've got like an invitational junior squad or something that is for set players. So you don't want it to be on the public that anyone can book on. You want it to be a select group of people. So if you select this option, it will just be a link at the bottom once you've created it that you could send through an email or a WhatsApp group to get people to book on. And then archive. So if it's an old course that's kind of no longer taking place, you can then archive that to move it away. So I'm going to create it as public. It asks for a reference, so I'm going to call this Advanced 22, so Advanced 22. And again, I'm going to give it the name of Monday Advanced. And so you can give it a different name. Within this category, you might want to give courses different names. So it might be the day, Monday Advanced, or various things like that, completely up to you. I can then choose the skill level. So I have the option to select more than one if I want to. For this example, I would of course just choose the advanced option. And then it's pre-populated the minimum age, the description, the confirmation text that we put in as part of the category. I then want to enable reminder emails. So again, that kind of text I put in for reminder emails is there already, but I just need to enable that if I want them to triggered. You do have the option to obviously turn that off. So if you prefer people didn't get the reminders, you can switch that off. So I want this one to start, if I've got the 9th today, on, let's say next Monday on the 16th. And you can also set up a booking window. So if you want people to book on and you want to know how many are booked on 2 days in advance, you can set that people have to book on during that period. So you might say that they can book on from today, the 9th at 1 AM, but booking closes the day before at midday. So you do have the option to do that. And then, you know, at that point in time, the number of people that are booked on and to help with coaches and managing that. Now for this instance, I'm going to switch that one off. As it's a course, I'm going to do it weekly. Again, there's the option for daily, which you can choose as well, but most commonly people do weekly. The session's on a Monday, and I'm going to do this as a 6-week course with a capacity of 8 players. Again, sort of a lot of the information pulls through from the previous category we created. So I put this as a manual waiting list. So if somebody adds onto the waiting list, I will then go into the admin area if a space frees up and send them a payment request. Automatic is probably the most popular because it takes away the admin from you. It'll automatically email them to say the space is opened up. They then get a 24-hour window to accept that and take the payment and book on. But again, it's completely up to you which waiting list function you have. Terms and conditions, so I didn't upload any into the category, but you can upload those there, so when they're booking on. And you've got the choice also to publish this on LTA Rally. So this is one of the LTA's national campaign sites. I'll just share that with you in case anyone hasn't seen this before. And this is where somebody can find a court near them to book, but also a coaching session. So on here, I could book a group lesson. Let me just put in London and submit. And so your course, if you tick that box, will then appear on this national aggregator. So it might be that actually people that are searching for courses and go via Rally because the LTA are doing a campaign on that are more likely to find your course. And you can see how that looks there. So I'm going to tick yes on that one. I've then got a choice. I can upload a cover photo. So when people are booking on, there's a visual there as well. And then it'll ask me for the cost. So in terms of the payment details, you can accept online payments. So we work with Stripe to take online debit and credit card payments. So that means someone can book on, put in their card details and pay there and then. And I'll explain Stripe a little bit more shortly. But there is a facility for offline as well. So if you wanted the flexibility for them to make a bank transfer or a cash payment, which is becoming obviously much less common now, you do have that there, and you could put your bank details in there for them to make the payment. Now, the main benefit, if they pay online with Stripe, the main benefit is it automatically takes the payment. It will tick them off as paid and they're booked on. Obviously, if they pay via bank transfer or cash, it requires you to log into ClubSpark and verify they made that payment and check the bank account or pay in the cash. So it's completely up to you again, which you choose. But the online payment side kind of just reduces the administration. Just while I'm on the bit, I've seen a couple of questions have come in. So I'm just going to take one there from Nigel. Why does Parent Play not have the option to do short, single course and reoccurring? Yeah, so something just to mention, and again, I'll come back to this page, but let me go onto my coaching here. Some of the LTA programs won't have the same setup that we're running here for a custom course. So these are bespoke programs that we've built for the LTA, and they've asked us to design in a certain way. So things like Tennis Express, I believe it's a set 6-week course for that one, and you don't get the flexibility to just do a one-off or a reoccurring. And then Nigel, as you said, Parent Play is similar. So this is a specific LTA program that they've asked us to design on ClubSpark in a specific way. They'll have more information on Parent Play and how that works on the website. But yeah, the reason for that is the course is set up in a certain way that based on what the LTA have given us, it has to be delivered over I can't remember, I think for that one, a 6-week block. So that'll be why on that one, Nigel. Just covered here as well, one from John. Can you program weeks when the course won't take place, such as half term or coaches are not available? Yeah, John, that's a good question. I'll come on to that one in a moment and then show you how you can manage that. Is there a way of having a course of, say, 12 lessons weekly with a holiday in the middle? Oh, Mike and John asked similar questions there. So I'll come back to those two once I've created the course and show you how to do that. Next one is who can book. Now, if you're using a venue account where the club's membership's in the system and you wanted members only, there is the option for just members of the club to book. If you're like me, so I'm just using my own coaching account, Rob Peters Tennis Coaching, and therefore I don't have the club membership data. So I want anyone to be able to book, but you can offer a membership discount. And so I can either base that on the membership within my account, which I don't currently have any, or use a selection. So that means when someone books on, they'll be defaulted as a non-member, and then they can change it to a member if they're to get the discounted rate if they are a member of the tennis club. So I'm going to put in here the cost for a 6-week course is £50, and for a member is 40. And then I can also allow joining after the course has started. So if week 1's taken place, but I'm happy for the book on to last 5, you can either choose to put a cost in per session. So if there's 3 sessions left at £6, it'll cost it up at 18. If I leave these blank as they are now, if someone books in a week late, they'll be charged the full amount. So they'll still pay the full 50 or 40. And so that might be relevant if you've got a squad that people are booking back onto for the new term, but they book a week late, although they attended the first session, you might actually still want them to pay the full amount. So if you leave them blank, that will allow them to do that. I touched on this bit earlier, so participant cancellations and auto refunds. So I've set that up there. And then also, because this is a coaching account, I can then add in the venue this is taking place. So if I just search for a club, if I just put in Club Spark there, I can put in that venue, and also then I can select the coach. So I can select myself as the coach for this session. I'm going to leave that one blank. And then also the time. So if I put in 6 AM, and this is going to be an hour. Just to reference as well, sorry, at the bottom there, the Open Court. So this relates to the LTA's Open Court Disability and Inclusion Programme. So as part of LTA Rally, if I just jump back across, when a player signs up, they can search if they want to look at a specific disability session or a wheelchair session or VI, they can filter. So if your session meets those kind of requirements, then you can also tick those boxes to do that. So I'm just going to save that course, and then I'll come on to those couple of questions that came up earlier. So we'll just let this load now. So the reason it's come up with this box is I haven't added a coach into this. And as part of the category setup, I put that needed to validate a coach's qualifications. So in this case, because the coach isn't accredited, it won't let me set up the course at this stage. Now, for this test example, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change it back. So I'm just going to go on to advanced, adult advanced, edit the category, and then I'm going to just take away that validation there, just so then I can demo this part. So if I just go into the course that we've created, I'm going to scroll to the bottom and then add myself back in as a coach, and then save that course. So what I can do now is, so once the course is set up, currently you can see there's no names booked on, so I don't have any bookings currently. I've got the direct links at the bottom, which take me to my website, and also LTA Rally if I want to find it on the national campaign site. And if I want to go onto my website here, if I just refresh that, you can see now both courses are putting through. So I've got my Monday Advanced and also got my Adult Beginners here on a Tuesday. And what I do in a moment, I'll show you how then the customer books onto that course. If I click onto View Sessions at the top right, and this just comes onto the questions that were asked a moment ago by John and Mike. If, for example, you've got a week where a coach is on holiday, or maybe it's an inset day at a bank holiday or something like that where it needs to be moved, let's say Monday the 30th of May. If I click into that session, I can actually then change that date. So I could move that to the end. So I'll put that to the 27th of June. So I'm just going to add a week on at the end there. Again, if you needed to change the time, so maybe you're doing a double session and want to change the time and date, you could of course do that as well. But for this example, I've got the 16th, 23rd, I've then got a break on the 30th, so no session, and then you can see those are all added in. So that's how you can kind of edit that if you need to. So Mike, John, hopefully that answers your question. Please pop in the question Q&A if you want any clarity on those. Great. So that's the session set up, and then I'll just show you how you then a customer would book onto the course and how that looks once they have registered. So like I say, you can either send people the direct link to the course, or they can find the session within your website. So like I've got here, I can click onto the Monday Advanced. And then this is what it will look like for somebody booking on. So they can see the time, they can see the coach, who it's available for, and the price of the session. So it's £40, or for non-members, it's 50. So if I click book now, I can then from here add the players that I want to book on. So it might be, and more commonly, if it's a parent booking on juniors, they'll want to add on their juniors to their profile. So they can add them in here, all their details, and they can put their child on rather than themselves. For this session, I want to be able to book myself on, so I can just very simply tick myself there, and it's defaulted to £50. If I am a member of the club, I can then switch to the member rate, and then I get it for 40. And then I've got the choice, as we mentioned earlier, so online payment or pay by backs. And again, you can put any detail in there that you like. Now, for this example, I'm going to choose to pay online through Stripe. Tick the terms and conditions and pay. And then I can enter my bank details. So really simple. I'm just going to do some example bank details just to show you how this works. And pay now. I'll just see if there's a Q&A while it's processing. Yeah, John, I'll come on to that and have a look at that. Let me just have a look at your question again there. This would also cope with adding, especially if one was postponed because of rain. Yeah, good question. I think what you could do with that one, John, if it did rain, and if I go back to view sessions here, even if one of the sessions had taken place, but had already kind of is in the past date but didn't take place, you could go in afterwards and always move that date. So if say the 23rd didn't take place, I could actually then just move that to the bottom or wherever I want it, or there is the option yes to add a session. So both of those options are absolutely fine. So once I've booked on, this is what the customer will see. So it'll show the sessions they've booked, who the player is, and the amount they paid. So any other details there. And then also I'll show you the kind of email confirmation that they'll receive. So if I just go into my inbox here. I'll just load that one up. So this is the email that the player or the parent will receive. So it'll say, thanks for booking. It'll give the details. Any other text. So the thanks for booking is the custom text that I added in. So you're welcome to add in more detail there as well. And then all of the session times and days. So you can see the session I moved from the 30th of May has moved to the 27th. And as well as that, you as the coach will also get an email. So I'll see if I can find that example within here. So you'll also get an email with it letting you know that somebody's booked on, so that you get a notification of that as well. So I'm just going to go back to this session now. And so the booking that I've just made will hopefully show as someone that's registered for the course. So you can see there, it's got my booking. And then as I attend, then I can tick off the register to notify that they've attended. I can also click into that and I can refund them. So if for any reason they need a refund, I process that through there. And also if they pay by backs, if they chose that method, it would have the currently is not paid, and I'd be able to update their payment record within this section. But because they pay by Stripe, all of their details and payment is complete, and I don't need to do anything further. If I just go back to the course where I can see the booking, now we'd imagine we'd have a full list, a full session here booked on. In that case, I could then tick this box at the top left, and it'd highlight all of the names that are booked onto the session. And then I can send them an email. So as I mentioned earlier, through ClubSpark, you can do things like send email communication. So if a session was cancelled due to coach illness or anything like that, you could then send an email to all of your players. Via the app, you can send an email, but you can also send a text. You can get SMS credits to be able to send a text to people if that's a more efficient way, but you can also email through the platform as well. again, I'll just take a quick pause, and I see there's a few questions have cropped up. So John hopefully answered that one there. And also, what about refunds if a session cancelled due to rain? Can it be credited? Yeah, Mike, a good question there in terms of credits, and I'll come on to it in a little bit. We're currently working on a feature that would allow you to do credits. So currently, if somebody books on to a session and a session is cancelled due to rain, we're working on two things. There's a partial refund through ClubSpark would be one option, which is a feature we're looking to introduce, but also a credit system. So what this would allow you to do is if somebody, say, a session was cancelled due to rain, you could apply an £8 credit to their profile. And then when they book onto the next term, they could then use that £8 to book onto the whole term as sort of a discounted rate. So that is a feature that we're working on, and I'll show you a little bit more on that. But in the meantime, something you can do is either offer a partial refund, and you can do a refund through Stripe, through the payment provider, or do a makeup session, which I'm sure lots of coaches do if there's a session cancelled due to rain. And John, again, another good question around Stripe. So does Stripe tell us what the payment is for to allow the treasurer to allocate the income? Yeah, so if you log into your Stripe account, if you haven't got one already and you create a Stripe account, when a payment comes in, it will show you the name of the session, the name of the person, their contact details, and how much they paid. So we'll give you a full breakdown of that, so then they can allocate. So particularly if you're a club that you've got court booking income, membership income, and coaching, it will, for example, let's say court booking and the court they booked, or the coaching and the session they booked onto. So yeah, they'll be, as a treasurer, they'll be able to sort that and filter between what's coaching income and what's court booking or membership. And just finally, for the time being, I think question here from, let me just pick up one from Martha. Can you do partial refunds at all for, say, one session rather than the full term? So Martha, hopefully I picked up earlier. Currently, partial refunds, no, it's just a full refund. That is a feature that, sorry, we're working on, and also the credit system, which I think will really help with that as well, which will be really popular. Nigel's put one thing to think about is having a picture of the coach on the email. Some people are extremely shy and having a picture. Yeah, that's a really good suggestion. Something that you could do within the banner image is maybe put a picture of the coach. Again, something lots of other coaches do is on their website have like a coaching team tab, and then have a picture of all their coaching team, which again might be a nice way to do it. So that in the confirmation email, you can maybe have a link to that and then direct parents to show their children. But yeah, a good suggestion. And then Martha's asked, can you email all players across multiple courses at once rather than selecting recipients by an individual course? So Martha, emails can either be sent via the contacts module, so you can email everybody there and use maybe the tagging feature. So you could create a tag for all courses with the tag coaching, and then you could email everybody, which would be a good way to do it. But in terms of emails here, you would be sending it specific for the course rather than sending it for all of them. So I think the best way to do that would be via the contacts module and tagging those that attend coaching. So you just email coaching attendees. Great. So hopefully that kind of shows firstly how to create a course, and then also how players or members will make a booking. I just wanted to show now in terms of kind of the next term and duplicating sessions. So if you've got a big program of 40, 50 sessions a week at your club, at your venue, when you come to the next term or half term, fortunately, it's not a case of just having to recreate all 40 of those again. There is a duplication feature which makes it much easier. You can also transfer the players that attended into that new course and send them a payment invite. So it might be that things for invitational squads or where you've got a waiting list, you want to give those that attended last term priority. So what you can do is, if I've got my advanced here, my 6-week course, I can click on options and I can duplicate that course. I can then select the new start date. So I might want to say this is on a Monday in August. And then I've got the option to import active players. So all of my 8 players that booked on last time and paid will then be transferred into this one, and they'll turn up as sort of not paid, and then I can send them all a payment request. So again, completely up to you. It might be that this is first come, first serve and you want it off, but commonly lots of coaches have this on to give those players that attended last term priority. So I'll just show you how that works. And I'll refresh my screen screen there. Just pick up a question from Mike here while I'm loading that screen. Can a player say I can't make these 2 weeks because I'm on holiday and not have to pay for those days when booking? Mike, if you create a 6-week course, 8-week course, no, it would default and ask them for the full amount for that course. Or if there's, say, 5 weeks remaining and you had a cost per class, they would have to pay for full 5. If you wanted to offer that flexibility, my suggestion would be to look at like reoccurring. So what this will do, it will create reoccurring courses every week, and they can then pick and choose the sessions they want to attend rather than having to book onto a block. So the reoccurring would be more suitable for that case. So you can see here, so I've just duplicated that one. So the old one starts on the 16th of May. I've now created my 1st of August. So I can click into that there. It's called Monday Advanced Copy. So I can always update the name of that one and change that. But what's really good is then you've got the booking from last time. So I've got my booking. I'm now in as not paid because it's the new term. And then what I can do is tick all of the names if I had all 8 in that case, and then send a payment request. So what that would do is send all of those players a request for payment, and then they would have a unique link in order to do that. So really kind of quick and easy to manage those. I'll just pause for a moment. I've obviously run through kind of most areas there of creating a course, just in case there's any questions that people want to ask within the Q&A or chat for me to pick up in the meantime. Just see if any pop through. Please feel free to pop them in there. And also, if there's a longer question you'd like me to, if you'd like to come off mute and ask it, then please just pop in the chat. Maybe just say, "Can I ask a question?" And I'm happy to bring you off mute. Sometimes easier than typing a long message. Just while, if anyone is typing, I'll just explain another kind of newer feature that got added. If you've created, maybe if you're coming back to ClubSpark or you've been using it for a while, and you want to archive some old categories. So let's say like adult advanced, you don't deliver that anymore, or it's an old category you did set up a while ago. There is the option to click on the 3 dots and then archive. So if you want to kind of tidy it up and you don't want all old categories sitting around, you can click archive, and then they'll just sit here at the top. So you can view any archive categories within this section. Okay, brilliant. So there aren't any other questions at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just jump back to, just as I said, there we go. Martha said, how do you add a contact tag once the course has been set up? I can't see an option to do so. So that contact tag, Martha, should be within the category. So if I go back into Adult Advanced, I should be able to edit the category here. And then there's a contact tag option. So yeah, so that's in the category and rather than that specific course. Cool. Thanks, Martha. So I'll just jump back now to the slides just to talk through a couple other bits. But as I say, if any other questions crop up, please feel free to keep popping them in the chat. I just wanted to reference for those maybe newer to ClubSpark, the LTA ClubSpark coaching app. So this is a really, really useful app to use. If you're on court or you've got lots of coaches that you're managing and you want them to keep up to date with registrars and attendees, you can give all your coaches access to the app to be able to view their sessions, be able to tick off who has attended, and then once if they've got 4G signal or Wi-Fi, that will then sync the data. And when next time you log into the admin area like we've been in, you'll be able to see all of the registers that they've updated. So if they're keeping those registers up to date, you can then see that reflected within the admin area in terms of attendance. So things you can kind of do in there, we've recently made some developments to this. So you can actually create courses now within the app. It's a bit like we just created that custom course there. You can actually do that straight from your phone via the app, which is really quick and easy to do. You can filter by just your sessions. So if you've got a coach and they just want to see their sessions, not the full list of the program, they can quickly view by theirs. There's a programs tab. So this is relevant to coaches who might be delivering across multiple clubs or sites. So if you're across maybe 3 or 4 different clubs, you can actually go on the programs tab on the app and then click on that club and then just see sessions for that club. And again, that might be relevant if you've got a coach that's just at one venue, but your program is across 3 or 4. You can view courses either on a weekly or a daily basis to easily find them. And then we've made some improvements to the syncing and performance, so much quicker in terms of kind of loading up a register, ticking off attendance. And as I mentioned before, you can email and send it via SMS credits to be able to text as well via the app. So if you haven't seen that already, I'd recommend having a look. If you go onto your Google Play Store or iOS, this is the app you're looking for. So it's got this kind of, it's got this logo with the Union Jack in the back there. And it's called Club Spark LTA Coaching. Is the app you're looking for. And then you'll see it will look a little bit like this once you log in. So you can log in with your LTA username and password, and then it will show you all of the different sessions you've got. And then once you click into one of those, you can see there how you can tick them off as attended. And you can also add a participant. So if someone hasn't booked on and you want to add them, you can add them in as well. And just kind of finally, I wanted to reference some of the new features that we've released. I've touched on a couple of these as I ran through, but also some features we're working on, which I think will be of interest, particularly if you're kind of newer to Club Sparkle, or even if you've been using it for a while. The first one here at the top that I've highlighted in bold is contact profiles. And I use this one a lot, kind of using Club Spark, both kind of from a membership, court booking, and a coaching point of view. I think it's really, really helpful. But particularly, it's something that coaches were asking for. The screenshot here that you can see, this is via the contacts module. So if I go into the contacts module and I search for a player that I know is attending my program, so I've got Molly Lowe here as an example, it will then pull up their key information, court bookings, coaching, and membership. And so it will show you all of their upcoming coaching sessions, past, completed, and cancelled. And so in the past, you would have had to go into the coaching module and find an old archived course to find their booking. But now you can see all of their history really easily. You'll be then able to click on that course and it will take you to it. It will show you how much they paid, how many sessions they attended. So I find this really helpful. As I say, I use it a lot. So I'd recommend having a look at that. If you click into a profile and click on coaching, you'll then see a list of all of their sessions they attended. I won't sort of mention all of these, but just those in bold. As I mentioned earlier, we've done some work to integrate the membership module into the coaching side of Club Spark. So that what we can do is we can enable the membership module that lots of clubs use to manage their traditional membership to allow you as coaches to create membership packages. So it might be that you have a membership as part of being part of the program, or you want to offer a direct debit program. So players pay £30 a month rather than £60 for a 10-week block. And we know more coaches are kind of looking at that. So we're looking to use the membership module to do that because there's Go Cardless, which takes direct debit payments, and it allows your players to then pay and sign up. So if that's something you're looking at, rather than the kind of course model or pay as you go, you're looking at direct debit, please email our support team, which I'll share the details of, and we can get you set up with that membership module and integrate that with your coaching module. And then as part of that, we've done some work to integrate the membership pricing. So if someone signs up to your direct debit membership package or your coaching membership package, they can then book onto a course based on the price, whether they're a member or not. So it will recognize their membership status. And then also, as you saw when we create a course, you can create member-only courses. So if you wanted just those players that sign up to that package to be able to book, you could also make the course member-only. And then for somebody who's not a member, wouldn't be able to book onto that. And then also, I mentioned archiving coaching categories earlier, so you can archive old ones to tidy up within the admin area. And then just to mention some of the features that we're working on. So there's a couple of questions earlier about credits. So that's a feature that's in progress at the moment. And so that'll allow you to assign a credit to a player who maybe couldn't attend due to a holiday or rained off session. And then in future courses or sessions, they can use that credit to book on. And the other one that's linked to that, which is sort of the first phase, and we're going to be releasing over the next week or two, is discounts. So this is going to work in a way that you might do a schools roadshow and want to promote your program to lots of new children. You could create a discount code within Club Spark. So it might be summer 22, a normal sort of discount code you'd expect online. And then the children that you deliver the roadshow to can then go on and book onto the course and get a 10%, 15% discount. You can limit how many times they can use that code. You can also limit the maximum value. So if it was like a 15% off, but it might be a max value of up to £10, you can do things like that. And you can also limit the overall number. So you might want to make it 50 people can use it, and then it's gone as a bit of an incentive. And again, there's going to be that sort of flexibility. And also, as I mentioned already, sort of membership and coaching, we're going to be doing more enhancements in that area to be able to allow coaches to offer direct debit courses and sessions. And then just in terms of next up, and again, these questions came up today, which is good because these are the kind of things we're prioritizing and working on is partial refunds. Lots of coaches feedback want the ability to sort of do a partial refund if somebody can't attend, is injured, or rain delay. Again, it might be that the credits also is a factor that's more appropriate in that case, but there's going to be the flexibility of both of those. Things like sibling discounts within the coaching module we're looking to introduce, which currently is possible within holiday camps. So we're looking to bring that across to coaching. And we're also looking at introducing multiple Stripe accounts. So we know there's lots of, and it might be some of you on the call today where as a coach, you're using the club account and they're using that for court booking, membership and taking online payments. And therefore you can't use Stripe because they're already using the one dedicated Stripe account to that ClubSpark account. So what we're looking to do is allow you to add multiple Stripe accounts and assign that account to the relevant module. So it might be that your Stripe account links to the coaching module and the club one links to membership and court booking. So that's another feature which may be of interest to some people. Again, just before I kind of skip on, if there are any questions, again, happy for you to come off mute. If you want to pop those in the chat or ask to come off mute, I can do that for you now. Okay, perfect. Last couple of things for me, just to also mention, is our product portal. So something we introduced in November, December time is a product portal of where all of the feature suggestions made by yourselves as coaches and clubs go into, and it allows our product managers to review and then prioritize the features that are most important. So if I just come off my screen and just share that with you now. Next time you're in the admin area on the home page, you'll see this blue bar along the top saying want to see what's on the roadmap. If you click on that link, it will take you through to the roadmap and it will give you all of the feature suggestions put forward by coaches. But what's really good is you can see what we've just released. So I've just been chatting through some of these now. So you can see all of our April and then our February releases and all the way back into sort of 2021. And you can also see what we're working on. So if you want to know what kind of the next coaching features are going to be that are in progress or currently being planned, and again, a number of these I've spoken through, you can see them there. But also you can vote for those. So it's really helping us prioritize when coaches and clubs go in and vote. So you could say, for example, coaching subscriptions is really important, something we'd like to see, and you can vote for that as critical. It also means if you vote, we'll then email you when that feature's live, so you'll be notified to let you know once we've introduced that feature to the platform. And also, if there's any features that you don't see that have already been submitted, you can submit your own idea. So as you're playing with ClubSpark, starting to use it, if there's anything you think that would really help us as a coaching business or as a club, you can submit a new feature. That'll then be reviewed by our product team, and they'll then submit that to the portal if it's not a duplicate or something that already exists on the platform. And again, other coaches can then vote for that within the portal. And then just finally from me today was just a reference kind of another webinar coming up. We do have one on holiday camps I'll be delivering in a couple of weeks. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the holiday camps feature, where as I mentioned, it allows you to offer sibling discounts, offer a full week course, half days, full days, early to pick up, that kind of normal flexibility you expect a holiday camp. I'll be running through how you create that. And that's on the 25th of May. I'm continuing to deliver every Tuesday weekly ClubSpark clinics. So the idea of these clinics is to bring together up to 10 coaches or 10 clubs on a Tuesday morning or Tuesday evening to be a bit more informal, run through any questions that you've got on the platform and troubleshoot any problems, as well as kind of share best practice with others on the call. And again, these are all accessible within our Zendesk area. We've of course got our dedicated customer service team. So any questions you've got, if you want to email our support team, the contact details are here to email them. And then we've got our Zendesk pages as well, where you can find all of the help guides. So just for those that are particularly new to ClubSpark, if you type into Google Zendesk ClubSpark, you'll find this page here, which has hundreds of help guides. So if I go into like the coaching module, for example, here, it will show me how to create a course, how to offer a discount, how to duplicate a coaching course, and it will walk you through all of those steps. So there's lots and lots of different help guides. You'll be able to find something to help you with this. And also, if you scroll down and look for the videos and tutorials where you may have found today's webinar, you'll be able to see future webinars and also the weekly clinics that I'm delivering as well, and be able to book onto those. And then just the last thing very quickly to reference is the Facebook group we've got. So there is a community Facebook page, which I'd really recommend if you use Facebook having a look at. We've got around, I think, up to 900 people on that now, and it's a place to ask questions to other coaches about how they maybe use a platform, or how do you do this, as suggestions. If you've got any questions kind of for our support team, I'd always recommend emailing the support email address, but the Facebook group is a really good one to kind of share best practice with other coaches. So hopefully that was a helpful intro this morning in terms of the coaching module. As I mentioned, there's lots of other support out there. So if after today you need help and you want to jump onto a clinic or email our support team, please do that, and we'd be happy to help. I'll stay on this call now for the next 5 minutes or so. And if there's any other questions and you want to come off mute or ask them in the chat, then I'll pick those up now. Otherwise, more than welcome to dial out of the session. And thank you very much for attending. That's great. Thank you, John. Thanks for attending.